In gardens all over the world, you can find this plant with these absolutely stunning trumpet-shaped flowers that only bloom in the moonlight. It's beautiful, it's alluring, and it's also one of the most dangerous plants you could possibly grow. So let's get into it, the beauty and the beast that is Datura.
So maybe you're thinking, hey, I'd love to plant some moonflowers in my garden. I mean, who wouldn't want those fragrant, night-blooming flowers? It's a super common thought for gardeners. But wait a second. That one simple choice could lead you down a path of some serious confusion with, and I'm not kidding, potentially deadly consequences. And here is the absolute crux of the problem. The name Moonflower gets slapped onto two completely different plants. On one hand, you've got Ipomoea alba, a gorgeous, sweet-smelling vine that climbs. But on the other hand, you have Datura, a low-growing bush that is extremely toxic. Knowing which one you're dealing with isn't just important, it's absolutely vital.
So, how in the world do you tell them apart? Well, it's actually pretty easy once you know what to look for. Let's break down the key things that separate the harmless, beautiful vine from the seriously deadly weed.
Okay, check this out. When you see the differences side by side, it's like night and day. First off, the biggest giveaway is how it grows. The real moonflower, the Ipomoea, is a climbing vine. It's going to reach for the sky. Datura? Nope, it's a bush that stays low to the ground. Then look at the leaves. Heart-shaped for the friendly vine, more arrow-shaped for Datura. And if you get close enough to smell it, well, the vine is sweet and lovely, while Datura just has this foul, unpleasant odor. And finally, the seed pods. Daturas are covered in these sharp, nasty spikes. There's a reason they call it thornapple.
So that harmless moonflower, right? It's what we call a twining vine. And that just means its stems are built to coil and spiral around anything they can grab onto. A trellis, a fence, you name it. They're always trying to climb up and get more sun.
And this image right here shows that climbing action perfectly. See that little tendril reaching out? It's looking for something to wrap around. That coiling is exactly how the Ipomoea vine gets up high and creates those beautiful cascading walls of flowers we love.
Datura, on the other hand, does none of that. It's a bush, plain and simple. It grows low and leafy, and it doesn't need any support because it has no interest in climbing. No tendrils, no twining, nothing. Yeah, the flowers might trick you from a distance, but the plant itself is a totally different beast. And again, you see that spiny fruit? That's a dead giveaway. You're looking at Datura.
Okay, so we've covered how to spot it. But now we get into the really dark stuff. We're moving from botany into the complex and, frankly, terrifying history of Datura. This is a plant of wild extremes, and it's all tangled up in centuries of stories about poison, power, and even witchcraft.
I mean, just listen to its other names. These aren't exactly friendly, right? Jimsonweed, devil's trumpet, thornapple, hell's bells, mad apple. Every single one of those names is a warning sign, a little piece of history hinting at this plant's fearsome reputation.
So what makes it so incredibly dangerous? Well, it all comes down to chemistry. Every single part of the Datura plant, we're talking seeds, flowers, leaves, roots, all of it is just loaded with these really powerful compounds called tropane alkaloids. You've probably even heard of a couple of them, scopolamine and atropine. This stuff is exactly what makes the plant a lethal poison and a terrifying deliriant.
And humans have known about this power for a long time. In ancient India, it was used in Ayurvedic medicine, but also as a poison and an aphrodisiac. In the Americas, groups like the Aztecs used it for sacred and probably terrifying rituals. Then you get to Europe, where it became famous as a classic witch's weed, supposedly a key ingredient in ointments that made you, well, fly. And that deadly legacy, it's still with us today, causing countless poisonings all around the world, both accidental and very much intentional.
Okay, we need to be crystal clear about something. It's so important to understand what happens if someone ingests Datura. This is not a recreational trip. This isn't a party drug. This is a full-blown medical emergency. It's a true, terrifying delirium. Doctors actually have this chillingly accurate little rhyme to remember the symptoms of this kind of poisoning. Blind as a bat, because your pupils dilate so much you can't see. Mad as a hatter, from the absolute confusion. Red as a beet, from flushed skin. Hot as a hair, from a raging fever, and dry as a bone, because your body completely stops producing saliva or sweat. It just perfectly captures the physical chaos that the body is thrown into.
The way the poisoning unfolds is just
It's horrifying. Within an hour, the physical crisis hits. A high fever, a racing heart, pupils so wide that light is agonizing. And then comes the delirium, a complete and total break from reality. The person is confused, they can't make sense of anything, and they often become violent, with zero memory of it later. And this isn't over in a few hours. That state of confusion and amnesia can last for days, sometimes even weeks.
If you want to put its lethality into perspective, just look at this number for a second. 2,778. That is the number of deaths from Datura poisoning that were investigated in just one city, Agra, India, between 1950 and 1965. This isn't some theoretical boogeyman. This is a real, documented killer.
Now, you'd think with a history like that, people would stay far, far away. But the plant still holds this dangerous allure for some people looking for a psychoactive experience. So let's be blunt. This is a plant that demands respect, not one to be used for recreation.
And don't just take my word for it. This quote from pharmacological experts really says it all. Basically, almost no other substance on Earth has a worse reputation. The overwhelming majority of people who try to use Datura for fun end up having a mentally and physically terrifying, deeply awful time.
Let's hammer this point home one last time, because it is so important. What Datura causes is not a hallucination. A hallucination is when you're still in reality, but you're seeing things that aren't there. A delirium is a complete loss of reality itself. It's a dangerous state of confusion, amnesia, and total disconnection from the world. They're not the same thing, not even close.
You know, when you really think about it, the story of Datura is a powerful lesson. Some things in nature aren't meant to be tamed or played with. They're just meant to be understood and honestly respected from a very safe distance. Which leaves us all with a pretty simple but really important question. Do you really know what's growing in your garden?